Greetings family. I'm coming to you from New Orleans this time, and I'm really excited to be here. I'm telling you, I am surrounded by music and food and the spirit. And what better place to introduce the idea of spiritual practices and tools than a city that just breathes, lives spiritual being, spiritual practice, and the divinity and the sacred in our ancestral practice of religion and spirituality. And for me, a city like this, it's really like the mix and the culmination of all the things that so many of us understand. You know, whether it's ritual, whether it's your traditional church, it's all here. A lot of why I do the Souls of Women media is because spirituality is such a big part of the African diaspora and the African experience. And I have a healthy respect for all spiritual practices. And so today, I felt like what better place to come from in introducing Dr. Chandra Degia. Dr. Chan co-hosted Growing Consciousness with Saya, and the two of them brought ideas about spirituality, about growth, about expansion that really I feel that I was a student of, and I learned so much in that time. And so I wanted to bring her to you. I wanted to introduce her to you because what I've learned about spiritual practices and tools, they can be extremely supportive when we're going through our hardest times. And it's sometimes in those darkest hours when the light really shines in with something as small as an affirmation, a prayer, a vision for ourselves. And I know that Dr. Chan has brought those ideas to me at different times through Growing Consciousness, through Positive Vibez, and also just through our conversation. And as I said, Dr. Chan is a media personality. She has her show, Positive Vibez, and she's also recently received a fellowship from Cornell University focused on environmentalism. Allow me to introduce you to Dr. Chan.
Listen to Growing Consciousness, I just got the real sense that what you're trying to do is explore that whole field of how we can grow as individuals in our journey.
You know, what it really is about, the whole idea of growing consciousness is really, you know, as you said, it's kind of this awakening. It's not religious. It's not, anything like, you're going to the mountains and meditating and, dropping out of life, so to speak. It's, really just about you just doing what you need to do to grow in terms of your own self, whatever that is, your self-expression, just genuinely being who you are and expressing yourself at your highest level, whatever that level may be at that point in your life.
What's been your experience even with your guests and some of the topics that you've had in that journey where you can see people growing and getting from that place of maybe pain or some place of challenge to a place of enlightenment at a certain level?
One of the guests who we spoke to, her name is Kathleen, and Kathleen is actually a breast cancer survivor. And when she told her story, it resonated with so many people, not just women. The response was so overwhelming because she had breast cancer, and the story that she was telling was not one of darkness or sadness. She was laughing about the whole thing. She was joking, and it was almost like, what? But you had to laugh too, because she was like, when she went to the doctor and the doctor said, you're going to need to have a mastectomy. And she's like, well, how many you want? 1 or 2? And, she's laughing and she's like, take whatever you want, doc, take whatever you want. And, she's a Trinidadian lady, but it's like, her story, so many people, men and women, reached out via email, Twitter, whatever, and said, this lady is amazing. Like, she should be a spokesperson for breast cancer because, and she said it in her interview, it's not like she's trying to minimize the pain or the suffering or the change that you go through with breast cancer, but it's like, she's like, she just said, well, I have one life to live, and she's like, this is gonna make me live longer. I have my daughter to live for, and I want to live life. And as she said, I have plenty fetes to go to in Trinidad. I have enough carnival to go to. I can't just dead so, She's like, I have to live. So, it's people like that who, they have their pain, they have their suffering, they have their personal trauma, but it's how they deal with it that really, I think, is really inspirational. And I think for me, in terms of radio, I have my boring academic life, but in terms of radio, I think, it's kind of like what I think, it's new to me, but it's kind of like, I think it's something that I need to do. It kind of sounds corny, but I think that's probably one of the things that I'm here to do in terms of not necessarily radio per se, but in terms of helping to inspire other people, not through my life necessarily, but helping to share other people's story. People who have gone through so much and are still living, still enjoying life, and still find a way, to just live. And when you get response like the ones from Kathleen, where people are just like, oh my God, wow, this lady is amazing, that's incredible, that just made me want to say, well, damn, my life is not that bad, or wow, I've been through some stuff, but if this lady can smile at the end of the day, why can't I?